Hey guys, I'm going to give a read of the new book by Delicious Tacos, Finally Some Good News. And we are going to go over a common concern from men who are starting their male action plan. For guys that are coming from a dead bedroom, their chief concern comes when they first learn how to enforce boundaries after sexual rejection. In this case, when a sexual rejection occurs, to remove your attention. And the first question that guys always ask is, will this make me look butthurt for her? In this case, butthurt's a goofy term, but it describes that embarrassment that comes with having the woman think that you're actually resentful over being sexually rejected. And this comes from two really errant mental models, and is a very old set that many guys have. The first is a covert contract, and the section is sexual buffers, and we're going to talk about both. A covert contract is where you do something with the expectations of reciprocity from the other person, and they either don't agree or couldn't agree. Sometimes they don't even know about them. And when they fail to reciprocate, a guy starts to get resentful, and it creates a negative feedback loop. In this case, the most common example are guys who thought bringing home the bacon or putting food on the table is the best way to get gratitude from their wives. And gratitude in this case means sexual enthusiasm. A buffer, on the other hand, is a slightly different thing for men than it is for women. In a woman's case, a buffer is a way for her to avoid actually having to reject a guy's advances. For a guy, a buffer is a way to distance himself from that rejection as a coping strategy, and these two things feed off each other. I'll give you an example. Every guy who has come from a dead bedroom has heard this at one point. The wife will say, maybe if you did more chores around the house, I'd be more comfortable and we could have a better time in the bedroom. That's a buffer. And most of the time, it's not her fault you didn't do the dishes. And as a guy, you double down on your own buffers. You do more chores so that she is comfy. You never let her drive because you got it. You earn more money so she never has to work while under your roof. You do all these things, and then all she has to do with her buffers is start moving the goalposts. All you have to do is keep thinking that you should have done more and more and more, and you've created a feedback loop of buffers that completely kill a bedroom. It's all built on lies. You guys are avoiding the main thing. In this case, that the guy isn't attractive, or the girl doesn't inspire enough attraction out of him. Now I'm here to tell you, there's only two things that build genuine desire in a healthy relationship, and that's being attractive and not being unattractive. Everything else is just logistics and adulting. Being attractive is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. That means being more fit and less fat. That means pre-selection, and most importantly, that means options. It's a very hard mental model to instill in a man. The mental model is that his wife gets first crack at his libido, not sole custody. And let's face it, most guys' logistics suck, and so they sabotage themselves here a lot. They wait until 11 o'clock at night to make their move. She turns him down with one of her buffers, and then he has to sit there seething while they work on their communication. This is another part where men and women are different. A guy thinks that the girl doesn't know what makes him happy, and so he starts to negotiate. He talks, and he talks, and he talks, and nothing ever changes. So he stops talking. He starts seething. A girl is focused on blame shifting and reputation management. In any conflict, keep in mind the first and foremost strategy for women is to make sure A, nothing is her fault, and B, that she's not a bad person. Keep this in mind, and every conversation will be much more predictable for you. Again, this is where the buffers come into play. She would be a bad person for rejecting you, so she has to invent these reasons that aren't her fault, and then by extension, they're yours. You, as your buffers, realize that all these other things you get to double down on will build this covert contract that will get you to where you want to be, and none of it works. So you as the guy are dutifully doing more dishes. It doesn't work. Your buffers sometimes are even more permanent. There's women that swear you need to have the kids sleep with you in the bed until they're 11 years old, or the daughter will end up in stripper shoes and the son will end up bringing a weapon to school. And because you put being a father as your buffer, you both create this scenario where you sabotage the relationship but soothe both of your egos. Now, back to the original question. If, during all this rejection, a guy gets up and finds something better to do with his time, will she think that he's butthurt? And that's the wrong question. When you've seen all the things that I've just talked about over the last 6 minutes, what would you expect? Did you think the guy wouldn't be seething in resentment? That's a natural thing to feel. Be honest with yourself. She should be honest with herself, but she probably won't. The question isn't whether you're butthurt. The question is why you haven't taken steps to fix this for you and create a better situation. And when it comes to sexual attraction, like I always say, there's only 2 things that matter: being attractive and not being unattractive. So don't wait till midnight to make your move. At that point, she's going to be tired and you waited too long, the buffers come out, you sit there seething, and then you both have a conversation where she keeps asking you why you're mad and you have to pretend that you aren't, even though it's painfully obvious. You make a move early, and when she turns you down, you get up and you go do that more valuable thing. You make yourself more attractive, and you do not care if it makes you look butthurt. You're too busy to care. Now I guarantee you, all that attractive work you're going to do, that building muscle, dropping fat, learning game, being more approachable, being more charismatic, all those unattractive behaviors you're shedding, being more aloof, having pre-selection, having a sense of abundance, not giving your wife sole custody of your libido but first crack at it, I guarantee you all that will do much more than the buffers you've currently put in place to prevent you from facing the one truth in your life right now, that you're unattractive and you need to fix that. She can do her own damn dishes. And I'll tell you this, one of the most attractive parts of a man is that 1 foot he has out the door. If you don't think that's the case, if you don't think a guy having options is a very attractive thing, become attractive and watch that girl the first time another woman starts to flirt with you in front of her. And you'll think, I'm just a charming guy talking with other people. Why are you so butthurt, hun? Thank you guys for sticking it out to the end. We'll say right now, if you want to see more, you've always got everything at ryanstone.com. That includes the consulting I do, the blog where I write more extensively on this stuff as well. You can always catch me on this same channel, Red Morning with Carl from Black Label Logic, where we go over sexual strategy from a single and from a relationship perspective. Tons of fun every Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. A lot of what we discuss isn't socially acceptable. In this age of social media, you have to be careful. Luckily, we have a tight group of men in our Patreon, and we take off the filter so that we can speak frankly with each other, swap notes, and improve in the ways that matter to us. Check out the link in the description. For a couple bucks a month, you can have exclusive access to this stuff in its raw form and more. Plus, those awesome guys are the only reason we can keep putting out these videos.